that be a motivation for you. Let that be a big motivation for you. Anyway, like I was saying. So yeah, we watched the debate last night, and it was a spectacular experience. Abdul showed up, and he put on a show, really. You can tell that he is a great speaker. And obviously, elections are, in many respects, popularity contest as well. So it's important to have swag. It's important to have charisma. There were some highlights. There were some great moments. There were some really low lights for Haley Stevens, obviously. This was one of them. Let's take a look.
Say this.
She got 30 grand from DTE. She's lying.
Dr. El-Sayed, I'm asking you the same question. Any money from anyone that we don't know about?
No and never, but then $40,000 in direct receipts to her campaign from DTE's corporate PAC. And then there's, I don't know, Center for Democratic Priorities, which released its funders, but then they're behind these shell organizations, these 501c4s. So I'd really like to revisit that question, because I don't know how to explain $40,000 directly to her campaign from DTE. I'm the only candidate in this race who's never touched a dime of corporate PAC money.
Abdul should say, how can the people of Michigan trust you when you can't even be honest right now?
Do you see why some people are bothered by the fact that so much money, $40+ million, has come from AIPAC?
Good question.
This moment in this country and here in Michigan, people have every right to be frustrated about our campaign finance system. My opponent here on this stage, Abdul, he's got a super PAC that his father-in-law funds that has millions of dollars going into it. And look, in terms of foreign policy, Abdul and I do differ.
Specifically about AIPAC money, more than $46 million has been spent on AIPAC spending to back your campaign. A lot of people wonder if that...
Roop Raj, the real hooper, baby. Why do you support terrorists? I don't support the nation state of Israel, my friend. You got it wrong. You're in the wrong place. I do not support terrorism. I do not support loss of civilian life. And therefore, I don't support the American military actions in Iran. And I do not support the Israeli government, nor its apartheid, nor its terrorism upon the Palestinian population, the Lebanese population in Syria, and numerous other countries. Wrong.
Is something where you're going to do their bidding should you win this seat. Is that something people should be concerned about? And if not, why not?
Absolutely not, Roop. Look, I have been very clear.
Why are they giving you 46 million then?
And I have
oh my God, Fox is cooking her. Thank you, moderator. Tel Aviv Impress.
And I'm still working to get us to long-term peace.
But no concern about the $46 million+ spent on the behalf of AIPAC that should worry people about perhaps you doing.
So one thing I want to point out here, because some people while we were watching were tongue-in-cheek saying, oh, it's 2v1, 2v1. This is the standard. What Roop Raj did last night was not favor Abdul Al-Sayed. What he did last night was favor the truth. That's what moderators are supposed to do. Okay? Obviously, we're joking about it, and I'm talking about like how goated Roop Raj is. I called him a Baltimore Maoist last night. But what he's doing is one of the most basic functions of real journalism. And it's unfortunately a dying art. It's a lost art. And many people don't follow through on these sorts of questions. When you ask a direct question, especially on an issue that is so important to many Michiganders, and the candidate refuses to answer this direct question, it's totally valid to reframe the question and ask it again. That's it. And because this is unfortunately not so common in local media, in mainstream media, in network television, when we see someone clear that low bar, we get excited.
Their bidding should you win the seat?
Well, I don't think there's much difference between super PACs going in for Abdul or super PACs going in for me. We have a problem with campaign finance reform in this country.
There's
Mike Rogers,
almost $100 million of difference.
The difference between us is $46 million of AIPAC spending. They've set a record in this race to help elect my opponent because they know that she'll be a reliable vote, just like she took last week to send your tax dollars to a foreign government that is aiding, arming, and abetting the very people who want to foreclose on the possibility of Palestinian self-determination. At the end of the day, my job is to take care of you here. I want to be your U.S. Senator. I want your tax dollars spent in Michigan to provide schools in Michigan, to build healthcare in Michigan, to build roads in Michigan. And I think that money sent over there to kill
Bro, what is
kids
happening?
and
The
women
moderator is actually
the
being
worst use
decent.
of our tax dollars, and yet that's exactly what $46 million in spending will buy you. I believe deeply that we have a responsibility to make sure that we don't make other people's problems worse. I believe that we should not be fighting stupid wars that AIPAC wants us to fight in the first place. And I believe we have a responsibility to keep our money here, to invest here. That really is the difference. We're being outspent in this race 12-1. Chances are you're going to see an ad, probably 2 of them, on behalf of AIPAC for my opponent in the next commercial break. That's what that buys you, lying about a record around President Obama's endorsement or lying about me and my character. But that's exactly what happens when you stand up and say, maybe Palestinians should have rights too, and maybe we should have rights to our tax dollars here at home.
There.
It was crazy. I mean, if Haley Stevens wasn't such a corporate stooge and like a human embodiment of everything that's wrong with centrist Democrats, I would feel bad for her. Because imagine working tirelessly, working up the ranks. You're a 20-year-old intern. You got this cushy job in the Obama auto rescue mission, right? As a Michigander, your career has this tremendous upward trajectory, right? You can lean into that for the rest of your life, pretty much. You got this unbelievable access, unprecedented access early on. You run, you take out a Jewish Israel critic in a House race backed by AIPAC. And then now you're about to make a Senate run, and you're backed by all of the centers of power in the Democratic Party. You have Chuck Schumer backing you. You have the clear backing of the DSCC, right? They're leaning in your direction. And all of a sudden, you have this guy who is an unbelievable generational talent that you have to go up against. Not only is his signature policy one that has been objectively popular, but it's also one that the people are more receptive to. It's Medicare for all. The guy that has run and lost statewide office against the fairly popular Governor Gretchen Whitmer is now back at it in this statewide race. But this time, unlike the last decade or so, the appetite for that kind of politics is leaning in Abdul's direction. Devastating predicament for someone who did all of the right things, went through the party ranks, went through the party apparatus, and thought that this was her moment. Many such cases of this kind of seniority-driven politics failing in spectacular display over and over again. One of the greatest examples was obviously Malat Quiros going up against Diana DeGette, who should have retired. But instead of retiring and propping up a centrist, groomed corporate Democrat to fill that role from Colorado politics, Malat Quiros was bold enough to take a shot. And she won by 15 points. We're catching a lot of centrist Democrats off guard. 2028, I suspect, will be different. Okay? But that's precisely what's going on with Haley Stevens right now. That's precisely what's happening with Haley Stevens. Career politician, had everything mapped out for herself, for her career. And her biggest mistake, unfortunately, is the time that she's running for office. A time when there is tremendous appetite for change. Meanwhile, on the Lib and Learn podcast, which is, I guess, a liberal podcast, there's a little bit of chaos on the Haley Stevens camp. Not even these liberals are defending Haley Stevens. Let's take a look.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm kind of agnostic in that race. Like, I don't really like either of them, to be honest with you.
Really?
I mean, I liked McMorrow. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know if he gets elected. I do think like he's a bit of a showboat. Like, I don't know. I don't like his vibes, but I'm closer to policy on when it comes to him, like over Stevens. But
Wow. Remember the universal outrage when you didn't immediately endorse a hypothetical Gavin Newsom run? Streamer Destiny says he's not sure who he would vote for if the 2028 presidential election between JD Vance and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in a vacuum. I don't know what JD Vance's political opinions are. I mean, I probably would vote AOC, but it's a coin flip. Yeah.
I just like the way that she carries herself more. And I do think that the fact that she got the endorsements from people that are actually plugged into Michigan politics, like I do care about that stuff as a voter. I think that stuff does matter. And so, but I really don't have like a strong preference either way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I feel like I'm the only Stevens champion out there right now. I don't know. Because even Josiah said he was with El Sayed last night.
He did,
So
yeah.
I was
That's the
surprised to
Pisco
hear that. But interesting. I mean,
Josiah listens to me.
Put the APAC stuff aside, which I know is hard for a lot of people. And I think she's a good candidate.
Put the APAC stuff aside? Why would you do that? What do you mean? Listen. Pay no attention to the fact that I got hit in the gut with a shotgun. Okay? Aside from the gaping wound on my gut, I am a beacon of health and excellence. Okay? Just put that aside. I don't understand. It's only $54 million. Just put it aside, dude. It's $54 million. What do you mean? It's a record-breaking amount of money. Just put it aside. Yeah, replace APAC with DSA. Not so funny now, is it? Yeah, exactly. The only reason they're for Stevens is because they're against you. I don't think so. I think this one is teetering on the edge. This one's already gone. Okay, Pisco's already far more open-minded. He's on like the Podjohn wavelength where he just doesn't care if Democratic Socialists are winning. He's like, no, that's great. As long as they're winning, that's great. This one is just a Destiny Orbiter, but I guess even he's teetering on the edge here. And I don't really know anything about this one. I assume this is just like a pro-Israel guy first and foremost, and that's why he said something as silly as put the APAC stuff aside. Stop, man! You gave Pac-Man grace, and you know what happened. I mean, I'll continue. I'm really important, really hates you. IDF family member. Yeah, oh, there you go. Wait, he's a citizen of Israel? Put the APAC stuff aside, guys. Guys, can you put the APAC stuff aside? Oh, dang. So, yeah, I don't think it's just animosity towards whatever he perceives my position to be. I think there's maybe a little bit more to it than that, but you know.
I mean, she's got the experience. She's just seems like she knows what she's doing. I'm more concerned about El Sayed not being able to have the Democratic Party in Michigan coalesce around him if he wins, because he's been so nasty. Like when Gretchen Whitmer endorsed Stevens on Friday, he was like, we still got potholes.
For the record, I do want to say something. I mean, there's literally Israeli citizens in my community. Okay, they're anti-Zionist. They live here now. So just because someone is even a citizen of Israel doesn't automatically make them someone who would be, pro-Israel, pro-APAC, all this shit. From my estimation, I made that assumption because I didn't know that he was a citizen of Israel. I just assumed that he's very pro-Israel because he said, put the APAC stuff aside. Okay.
That need to get filled 8 years later. And it's like, all right, bro, like you're not helping yourself here by attacking people who chose to go a different direction. You know, it's like you're going to need those votes and those endorsements in the general. What are you doing, man?
Joe Bart coming to LA August 1st. Get him on for a Chad Vice. Yes, we were supposed to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. I don't think I'm going to be here when Joe Bart is here, ironically enough. It's crazy. God, you suck at fun. How do I unsub? I don't. What is this? It looks like Roop Raj might be a fan. No, Roop, be careful. You're going to get banned from Twitch. I like that everybody in this community loves Roop Raj as much as I do. There's no such thing as Palestine 2 weeks ago.
It didn't seem that crazy.
Top DNC shill. I'm really important. The Liberals will kind of strip a stunt and a nothing burger. Yeah, I don't care about this. All right, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? I don't need a deep dive into this guy's behavior. Okay, I don't care. Yeah, we're a part of the Roop Troop. You got brought up on the Megyn Kelly show. Zara Mamdani grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. Hassan Piker owns a $3 million in Hollywood. Ro Khanna's kids have a golf course in their name. Is a top-down frustrated elite, just like the French Revolution, says V.D. Hansen. It's awesome. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. First of all, you know, Ro Khanna aside, this doesn't really make a lot of sense for me. If with Ro Khanna, you could say like, oh, he doesn't have upward social mobility, even though he comes from like a wealthy background. I do have upward social mobility. I have actually made a lot more money than my family ever did, and I take care of them. So this doesn't even make sense as like a jilted, angry, fail son who thought he would have the world given to him because of the silver spoon he was born with. Like, that argument doesn't even make sense for someone like myself. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense at all. Put the Ro Khanna stuff aside. Yeah, because, well, Ro Khanna is immensely wealthy, and I think he married into wealth, which, you know, more power to him. I mean, same with Abdul as well. Abdul obviously married into a wealthy family, and that's kind of come back to bite him in the ass with his tax releases. A lot of people are yelling at him right now for his father-in-law's like rental properties that are in the name of his wife. TLDR on the Professor David. Holy shit. Professor Dave's new video on Destiny exposing for sexually assaulting women, messaging minors, and admitting to physically abusing his ex. There's a pattern of predatory behavior that goes along with the genocide denial. Yeah, we'll cover all of that. We'll get to all that and more. The fact that you were able to achieve upward mobility is a sign of failure of the system they want. Yeah, no, that's not even the case. I am literally the poster boy for American excellence. I am the straight up poster boy for the American dream, okay? Come from a relatively well-off immigrant family background, okay? Their finances are in tatters by the time I get to college, but it doesn't matter because I basically win the fucking lottery, right? I'm a business owner, you know, I'm a jobs provider, all of this stuff, right? I'm stimulating the American economy in very meaningful ways. I've made it. I've made it. I'm unbelievably assimilated. So technically, I am everything that these guys are supposed to point to as a success story. But the problem is, I also understand that while I made it, and I'm immensely fortunate, that doesn't mean other people also have an easy go at it. That's the difference. If you make it and you recognize that this is not an opportunity given to everyone else, that it is a lie, that meritocracy is a fucking lie, people lose their goddamn minds. Okay? They lose their fucking minds. Thank you, Cole's Presence, for the 100 community gifted subs. But that's it. That's it. If I sat here every day and told you, if I can make it, you can too. Look at how tough my job is. Look at how big of a business owner I am. Like if I said that and then I shilled some kind of bullshit course about how you too can also make money and how the possibilities in America are endless, nobody would be chirping about it. I wouldn't be getting yelled at by liberals. I wouldn't be getting yelled at by Republicans. The thing that breaks them is that someone who has actually been tremendously fortunate can be unbelievably honest about that. Okay? Luck played a significant role in this every step of the way. Yes, I worked very hard, but it doesn't matter. Luck played a tremendous role in this because I understand that the Oklahoma teacher that has to drive Uber deliveries at night also is working super hard, probably a lot harder than I ever have worked in my life. I am unbelievably lucky. I'm unbelievably privileged. Okay? My point is, we should design a system, especially because we have enough wealth at this point. We have enough technological, we have a lot of technological improvements in our lives that have made it easy for people to work less and still have the same output, to have a little bit more autonomy in their lives. We have stuff, okay? We have things already. But what we don't have is stuff necessary for survival, stuff necessary for upward social mobility. We don't have access to housing, healthcare, education, all the way up to college. These are the real problems that Americans are facing every day. We have the resources. We don't distribute them evenly. That is my anger. That is my frustration. And when someone who is successful says shit like that, other successful people get very mad. And their attack dogs latch on to it. Anyway, it's very frustrating, but who cares? Who gives a shit? Yeah. Stevens is letting our neighbors get grabbed by ICE. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Where was I? What was I covering? I was talking about Haley Stevens' performance. But yeah, it's very clear. Liberals, as soon as a Muslim guy runs for Senate, they turn into Nick Fuentes. I've also noticed this as well. It's pretty crazy. She's fucking right. Lamau. Guys, this kind of anti-American bigotry isn't who we are as Americans. Stop speaking Arab, boy. That's what this Joe McCarthy stand with the Israeli flag, trans flag, and the Ukrainian flag in the bio is saying. Like this person is fantasizing that this is what, this is how black people are. This is how black people would behave. Attributing their own personal anti-Arab and Islamophobic resentments to the entire black population, which is unbelievably racist. Yeah, it's projection. Was it racist? Yes. Did I find it funny? Yes. Are Arab Muslims white assimilating and don't like my black ass much? Definitely. That's why I'm not in a free Palestine mood. This got to be CIA. I'm not going to agree with anything Angie Smith says here, but people need to stop pretending there isn't any tension between black folks and Arab folks in Michigan. People want to ignore what happened in 2024 and believe that didn't cause any bad blood in the Dem party. Arabs are extremely anti-black. This is Fed posting. This is CIA posting. That's it. This is CIA pros, dude. They've been doing this, okay? They've been doing this. And some do it for free 99. Some do it because they get paid to do it. Trying to create ethnic tensions between black voters and black people in general in America and Arab voters, Muslim voters. It's bullshit, okay? It's fucking bullshit. By and large, these tensions are not real. They don't exist. These people live alongside one another. This stuff doesn't exist in the real world. It is just exclusive to the internet. Are these real people? No. No. At most, the tensions that are heightened here can have a little bit of underlying resentment, something I've brought up personally as well. You know, there's this notion of Dearborn people in the state of Michigan. Okay. Having said that, by and large, black voters are unbelievably woke. Okay. They're woke on Israel. They're woke on AIPAC. It's just, this is highlighting some community representation, oftentimes community representation and community leadership that is getting direct payments from Israel by way of AIPAC. But there is no greater example of this this division being greatly overemphasized by the likes of CNN and mainstream media outlets right now, especially in the Abdul race, whereas it doesn't necessarily exist in the real world, is the fact that while the Congressional Black Caucus, the CBC, is base boosted by AIPAC in many meaningful ways, and Jim Clyburn himself has endorsed Haley Stevens, there are plenty in the Congressional Black Caucus that are separating from Clyburn right now to endorse Abdul al-Sayed. So I wouldn't be so certain. I would not be as certain as many are to snap into this idea that, you know, all black people are a certain way, or that the entire Congressional Black Caucus is a certain way. Okay? And that's not the case. And for the record, none of that is representative of how black people feel on the issue of Israel, on the issue of AIPAC, on the issue of corporate Democrats in general. Okay? That's it. No group of people are a monolith, okay? Black people are not a monolith. No group of people are monolithic. Jewish people are not a monolith. Arabs are not a monolith. Muslims are not a monolith. It's all down to the individual. You can try to make some demographic determinations off of polling data, but the polling data shows a very different reality than the one that is presented by these sectarian charlatans. Okay? In any case, let's get to situation monitoring. Sometimes the situation comes back to be monitored in Washington.